Hey guys, welcome to Cozy Talks Live. It is day one of Limb Loss Awareness Month. So, if you guys saw some of the posts I did earlier, you know that I will be going live every day this month at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm going to be answering one question, except for the Wednesdays, of course. We're going to have our usual Wednesday lives at the 8:30 time with a much longer time slot. So, those of you who are here, we've got the one question that was sent in that I'm going to answer tonight. And for those of you who are new, welcome. My name is Cosi Belloso. I'm a physical therapist, amputee specialist here in Tampa, Florida. So the question that I'm going to be answering tonight came from Sean. And Sean was asking, how do you deal with a blister? And how do you keep your limb clean all day? So if you guys have been watching my show, you know I am really, really big on limb hygiene, skin management, making sure that everything is nice and healthy with your skin. At some point in your life as an amputee, if you're using a prosthesis regularly, you're going to run into a skin issue, whether it's a rash, a blister, something unfortunately is going to happen. So it's always good to know how to deal with it. When it comes to blisters, guys, the cardinal rule is if it is not popped, leave it alone. Leave it alone and let it heal on its own, because the liquid inside of that blister is sterile liquid. So it's keeping that wound clean. If the blister has popped, then you want to keep it clean and dry. Okay. And when I mean clean, usually I mean just run it under the shower with soap and water and just let the soap and water run over it. Make sure it's dry. If you have to put a Band-Aid, just put a loose dressing over it and maybe just a little bit of backseat or an antibacterial ointment, just a little bit. Don't start pulling the skin. Don't start picking at it. Let it heal on its own. Okay. Now let's go back a couple of steps. You need to ask yourself, why did you get the blister? Okay, super important to ask yourself these questions, because if you don't find the answer, you're going to keep blistering up over and over again. So the only way a blister will form, it doesn't form out of the blue sky. Okay, the reason a blister is going to form if you're wearing a prosthesis is if you have friction and chafing and shearing going on in the socket. And it can be something very, very small, or it can be something very, very big. It can be caused by a socket that does not fit properly, meaning maybe you put too many socks or too few socks, or there's some pressure point in that socket that needs to be taken care of by your prosthetist. Here in hot, sticky Florida, sweat is our number one enemy and number one blister causer, right? So we're always working on ways on how we can manage sweat throughout the day. And I also forgot to mention, if you have a blister, you keep the prosthesis off. That's it. I'm kind of like the about that kind of thing, right? The reason is if you keep putting a prosthesis on while a blister is trying to heal, you're gonna keep reopening that blister. Are there exceptions to that rule? Yes, but not very common, okay? Sometimes in my very active patients that have very healthy skin, they don't have diabetes, they don't have any other underlying issue, sometimes I can put a little bit of Tegaderm over those blisters so the person can use the prosthesis. But if I see that that blister is not healing, all bets are off and the prosthesis has to stay off until that blister is completely healed. Okay, so once that blister is healed, once again, you got to find out what caused the blister in the first place and fix it. And then when you start wearing your prosthesis again, you got to take it off a couple times a day, a few times maybe, to check that skin. It'll be new skin, okay? It takes a while for skin to really kind of get strong again, okay? And you don't want to keep shearing that new skin off, okay? Now, as far as how to help prevent blisters, definitely what Sean asked about, how to keep your limb clean during the day, super, super important, okay? So first rule is every 24 hours, your limb needs to be bathed as along with your liner. And I don't mean just a washcloth wipe. I mean, you need soap and water running over that residual limb. It's trapped underneath layers of silicone and thermoplastics and wool socks and all of this all day long. It needs to breathe. It needs to be bathed to get all the bacteria, sweat, odor off the limb. Okay. Same thing with that liner. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in other days this month. Okay. So when it comes to keeping it clean during the daytime, I tell my amputees to carry a little spray bottle in, little fanny pack with extra socks. And throughout the day, take everything off. And depending on where you live in Florida, some of my folks have to do it 2, sometimes even 3 times a day, depending on how often they're outside. But if you find that your limb is getting sweaty or you're starting to kind of feel something there, take everything off, spritz it with that half water, half alcohol solution, wipe it nice and dry. Inside of your liner, same thing, spritz it down, wipe it dry, make sure everything is dry, and then put it back on with fresh socks, okay? This helps with sweat, this helps with odor, this helps keep things dry and hopefully preventing some of those blisters. All right, guys, that is day 1 for April Limb Loss Awareness Month. We have a lot of stuff going on this month in the show. I've got 3 sponsored shows. Big ones, guys, big ones. And then some of my sponsors like Click Medical, they are hosting giveaways. So Click Medical is hosting a 30-day giveaway. They are giving away 30 Cozy Talks Strong Body subscriptions. So those of you guys who don't know, I created an entire exercise program for amputees. And Click Medical is giving away 1 subscription a day plus 1 book per week. So if you guys want to find out about that, head to the Click Medical social media and find out how you can enter in on some of these giveaways. All right, guys, those of you who sent me questions for today, it didn't get to them. Obviously, I will be answering them all on tomorrow's regularly scheduled Wednesday night live show. All right, guys, share this out to your support groups. Hit like, subscribe, do whatever you can. Show your support for the Cozy Talks live show. Have a great evening, guys, and I will see you same bat time, same bat channel tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard